In a previous video, I mentioned that I don't like this green chromium oxide waxy bar type stropping compound.
Always recommend diamond compound over green compound.
And I prefer diamond compound instead. And if you asked me at the time of that video why, I would have said that I believe this stuff breaks down on the surface of the strop, making it less effective after just a handful of uses. Meanwhile, diamond does not. But is this actually true? Or is it something that's just been repeated so much that we just accept it as the truth? The main problem with green compound, in my opinion, is that it breaks down fairly quickly. And I literally got this comment as I was filming this video, and I agreed with it. Well, I never actually looked into it until now. What actually makes this waxy bar type stropping compound less effective than diamond? Well, I was actually quite surprised as to what I found out. I think I was wrong.
I can't believe I haven't thought of that before.
First, I wanted to see what this green compound looks like under the microscope. So I applied different brands of compound to some samples and took some close-up photos. And I noticed something right away: the particle sizes. The particle sizes on most of this green stuff is super inconsistent. We have relatively large particles and some super small particles all mixed together. Now if we compare this with diamond compound of a known particle size, we can see how nice and consistent the particle size is. So this tells me something. First, stones and strops tend to behave like their largest particle sizes would indicate. That means if we have a stone or a strop with a large particle size range, that stone or strop will behave like its largest particles. So for example, if we have a range in particle sizes between 1 and 9 micron on a stone or a strop, all mixed together, you essentially have a 9 micron stone or strop. Those tiny little particles are just not doing anything. So when we mix these two 1 and 6 micron compounds together, we basically made a slightly less functional 6 micron compound. The 6 micron particles are still so close together they will overtake any refining the 1 micron particles will do. You can think of this like trying to sand with a coarse sandpaper and a fine sandpaper at the same time. This feels even dumber than I originally thought it would. But even with this being the case, why doesn't chromium oxide work as well as diamond? So the first reason I think that these chromium oxide bars don't work as well as diamond is they just aren't fine enough to produce super fine, sharp apexes. It's sharp, but it's definitely not even close to hair whittling. So let's do some measuring here. So due to the method that I take these photos that you're seeing now, without doing some really difficult math and pixel counting, 8,747, 8,748, 8,007... I don't really have a super accurate way to measure the different particle sizes exactly, but I can do an overlay and get close enough. In this picture with the green chromium oxide, we have these very large particles. If we compare that to this picture here with accurately graded 30 micron particles, you can see just how large some of these green chromium oxide particles actually are. And comparing further with 9 micron particles further illustrates just how large some of these green chromium oxide particles can be. How many more times can we say particles? Now, if I had to guess here, is that with this green compound we have in this picture, we have about 20 micron particles all the way down to maybe 3 micron, which is a huge range. Now, looking at some of these other green compound bars, judging by my best, most accurate guess, which I typically get correct 50% of the time, it looks like these green bars can be all over the place, with some of the bars being 3 to 20 plus microns down to 1 to 6 microns. So the reason we can't get hair whittling or very sharp very easily is because these just aren't fine enough. Now for some real life context here, these are the same 30 micron particles on a ballpoint pen. They are large for knife sharpening, but still very small in real life. So what if we go finer? Well, I had this bar of white rouge polishing compound laying around, and indeed, it is a finer particle size. Hopefully you can see as we overlay these images at the same magnification, how the white is significantly smaller than the green. And stropping with it after stropping on green makes the knife significantly sharper, even hair whittling. Oh, it is. There you have it. So, hair whittling off of the white compound, not the green. In order to get, I didn't strop on this a whole lot, a handful of passes, and we're at hair whittling. So I think that this tells us one thing, that the green is just not a fine enough compound across the board to really get the ultra sharp results that I think a lot of people are looking for. But my green and white strops work great for a knife or two, and then they load up with metal and the grit breaks down and I have to reapply more to make them work again. Yep, that was me. I've said that before and I was wrong. So if you've used a waxy bar type compound, you've probably noticed that after a couple of knives, the strop starts to feel like they lose their bite or their effectiveness. They also start to look kind of shiny on the surface. So is this shininess and loss of effectiveness due to the strop loading with metal? Is it grit breakdown? What exactly is making these waxy bar type strop compounds less effective after just a handful of passes? Meanwhile, diamond compound strops seem to last forever without reapplying any diamond. I mean, I had a strop I used for over 2 years with pretty heavy use before I ever had to reapply diamond to the surface. So what exactly is going on here? Well, the answer is not what I initially thought. So after doing a little bit of stropping on our green compound strop, it's definitely lost its initial bite. So let's see what's going on. So here's that same compound from earlier that had all of those large particles in it, only this is after stropping a handful of times. I mean, where did all the particles go? Also notice there's not a lot of loading. What I did notice is that there are some particles sitting down into the strop. So I started to wonder if the waxy carrier was involved. My thought was that maybe during the stropping process, the wax that carries the particles was getting formed back into mini wax deposits on the surface of the strop, pushing the particles underneath the wax coating, not allowing the particles to come into contact with the blade. So I got a heat gun and melted the wax on the surface, and it immediately went from shiny back to dull again, as if we had just applied compound. And this is what it looked like. We can start to see some of the particles again. So here's before and after the heat. Now this made me wonder if maybe the heat wasn't enough. So I did something a little bit more drastic. I took a wire brush to the surface to rough it up. Very lightly, I may add. And what do you know? It looks like we re-expose all of those buried particles again. And guess what? That feels like we just applied compound again. Like you can feel the abrasive actually doing the work. It doesn't have a slick feeling on the top of it. Yeah, I mean, it feels exactly the same as if we had just reapplied compound right over the top. But all we did is use a wire brush. I mean, just using a wire brush, roughing up the surface made it basically brand new again. And I can't believe that I didn't think of that before. So I think the answer here is no, the strop probably isn't loading. The grit isn't breaking down, at least not near as much as you think. The particles are simply getting covered in wax, and you have to periodically re-expose them in some manner. Now, roughing up the surface, especially with a wire brush, does come with downsides. It will probably wear out your strop quicker, and you will need something that's quite aggressive, like a wire brush, in order to break up the wax and expose the particles again. Oh yeah, that's actually working really nicely too. So the problem here isn't really with the chromium oxide abrasive itself. It's actually the wax carrier that forms the bar. Now you can buy chromium oxide in powder form, but I haven't tried that yet. And that may be the opposite problem. Perhaps the powder form doesn't stay put very well on the surface of the strop. But we'll have to save that for another video. Now the reason that chromium oxide is sold like this in wax bar type form is because it's actually made to use on buffing wheels, not strops. The buffing wheels need the higher viscosity of the wax in order to hold it in place on the wheel as it spins around at super high speeds, as well as the fact that the heat generated by the buffing wheels at the point of contact with the material melts the wax and exposes the abrasives. Now, stropping on diamond does make your knife sharper a lot easier. And I think the main reason for this is the fact that we can get much smaller uniform abrasives in diamond form. Now this knife stropped on a diamond 3-strop progression from 6/1 and 1/10 micron makes hair whittling about as easy as you can get in a handful of passes. As well as the fact that you can buy diamond compound that's specifically made to be applied to a strop surface, where the diamond carrier either completely evaporates or is completely absorbed into the leather, and helps hold the diamond in place without covering up the abrasive particles. Now this makes diamond last a lot longer between applications, and I think that we could really get into the weeds on this one here, but for now, I think this will probably help explain it and keep it relatively simple. at least for now.